Keep it or change cars. We are the face and voice of motoring podcasts in South Africa.
Welcome back to the Keep It or Change Cars podcast. I'm Nicky Nash, your host, as always. And yet again, I'm never alone. I'm always in studio with Michael Pritchett. How are you?
I'm superb. I hope you're well. I'm always envious of your smile, but my smile is going to match it today. It has been the most incredible week. We're coming up to Easter. Great weekend ahead. Yourself, you doing anything special over Easter?
Well, not necessarily anything special. I'm just going to be at home. But on Saturday, I'm going to go watch football. I'm going to go watch Sedans play against Al Ahly in the CAF Champions League.
Any violence expected?
Oh, definitely. The Egyptians, definitely. Definitely. When the Tunisians came, definitely, with Esperance, they did the exact same
Correct.
thing.
I never realized just how competitive South African soccer is. So you think of Everton and Liverpool, the Merseyside derby. I can understand a bit of violence. Yeah. But locally, when we're playing North Africa, I didn't expect that.
I kind of did, because the North Africans have always been dominating African football. But that has changed. Sundowns is doing well in the Champions League. Pirates is doing well in the Champions League, and then the Confed, you also have Stellenbosch that's also doing very well. So I think the North Africans are not used to coming to South Africa and losing, especially in a big tournament like Champions League.
So I've seen two big finals in my life. One was the 2010 Soccer World Cup final, but the first one, the 1996 AFCON Cup, the year South Africa won it, unbelievable. I just remember one player. Every time Mark Fish got the ball, what did they say? Fish. Love that.
Yeah.
But what are you driving today?
I'm driving the Volkswagen Touareg. I really, really do like it. It's a facelifted one, this one that I'm driving.
The Touareg just never, ever for me gets old. So that came out, if I'm not mistaken, 2005. Same year as the Cayenne, was it not 2005?
Yes. It should be there. They are the first one with that blue
Correct.
color. Yes, that is beautiful.
Engine in them today? Only one engine option, is there?
One engine option. It's a V6 turbo diesel.
3 litre.
3 litre, 190 kilowatts and 600 newton meters of torque.
Would that be the same engine they use in the Amarok?
I'm not sure. Funny enough is that when I was doing the review of the Touareg, I actually said, if this is the engine that's found in the previous gen Amarok, then definitely I understand why people love those previous gen Amaroks. Because the current Amaroks is the Ford engine, so it's not the same.
Correct. Now, but you talk about why people love the Amarok, the Touareg, etc. Yeah. Why do people love VW? Because I'm seeing the love for this brand grow. Every single day, people are phoning me and saying, Michael, I've got options. VW is one of them. I'm going with VW. Why do people love VW so much?
I think, for me personally, I think it's because of what VW has done in the country. Like, they're so iconic, and especially when you look at like their Golf, all their Golfs that they've launched, they are loved in the country. So I think having that rep sheet essentially makes them lovable. So when they release new cars, as much as they are expensive, there will be people that will still say, I still want a VW.
But what I also like about VW, the type of dealerships that VW have, every single VW franchise is a quality group. CFAO, Bidvest, Hatfield. You will never go into a VW dealership and say, wow, this place looks a little bit average.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It definitely is always top tier.
But now, interesting for me, talking about dealerships, what brand in South Africa is, besides Mazda, we know about that already. We're not going to give you more airtime. You got all the airtime you deserve. What brand in South Africa is scarily going south with dealerships?
With dealerships. I'm not sure.
Volvo.
Oh, Volvo, yes. Oh, actually, now that you say Volvo, I don't know when last I saw Volvo. I'm trying to think of a Volvo dealership around where I stay. There isn't, now that I think of it.
So for many reasons, I like the Volvo brand. The obvious. They're safe. They're not hijack risks. They're quality. Everything about a Volvo for me is premium. 5 dealerships in South Africa.
5? Are you serious? The 5 dealerships?
Now they say you got one in the Western Cape, you got one in KZN, you got 1 or 2 or 3 in Gauteng. But Gauteng's huge. Western Cape's huge, yeah. KZN, you got 1 dealership. What happens now? I want to sell my Volvo, and the right buyer, in theory, is an older gentleman or a younger lady, whoever the case may be, in Mpumalanga. And she says, where am I going to service my car? How can you buy a Volvo when you got no dealership network?
So what I say is there are 5 dealerships.
5 dealerships. They've closed dealerships. Okay. I know there was a lot of problems with the closing of the dealerships. A lot of the dealerships didn't want to close. They were forced to close. But I say respectfully, Volvo, I love your brand. But that is an own goal in both halves.
Yeah, definitely, because I thought you were going to say around maybe 50 or something, but now hence I said I don't even know where a Volvo dealership is around where I stay. So when you said 5, it makes sense. You find that there isn't even a Volvo where I stay.
And I think a Volvo in Gauteng, there's one name that stands out, Tom Camphor, and his son Vic Camphor running it today. Absolutely the original importers of Volvo into South Africa in the 70s. Standout dealership, but you need support.
Where's that dealership?
So surprisingly, in Braamfontein. Now, that's not an area you'd expect him to be. But having said that, when last were you in Braamfontein?
I haven't been in
That's good.
in a bit.
You got Joburg CBD,
Yeah.
shocking. You got Hillbrow, that's shocking, plus. And then you got Braamfontein, Parktown, that area, very, very nice. And I love to see urban regeneration. So well done, Tom Camphor, for being in a part of town that people wouldn't expect you to be. Nice and safe, easy to access.
So now, since like this, I'm still actually shocked that they actually have 5 dealers across the country. Does that mean Volvo is struggling? Well, they are struggling, but does that mean that they're going to leave the country?
Again, you've got to assume any time people are reducing dealerships, we've spoken about this about Mazda, you reduce dealerships for one of two reasons. Either head office wants to do it, or the dealerships are saying we no longer have faith in the product. In this case, I'm not 100% sure why Volvo has done this, but it's a massive, as I said earlier, an own goal in both halves. It's terrible. Will they be leaving? If you're not doing sales, Nikki, Volvo are not here to say we represented in South Africa. They are here to turn a profit and do sales. It's commercial business.
Yeah.
How many sales can you do when you've got 5 dealerships?
No, you really can't.
Are you going to compete with Toyota with 220 dealerships? And Volvo pricing at the moment is very, very expensive. I mean, I know they've got this new electric vehicle out that I know absolutely nothing about. Do you know about it?
Yeah, it's the EX90. So for you guys that are wondering what is an EX90, it's essentially a new XC90, but in electric form. So
is it electric or hybrid? Fully electric.
Fully electric. I don't know if XC90 hybrid will be coming to the country, but they decided to launch an all-electric big SUV. You should be seeing on the overplay.
And now that is costing a fair whack, and I guess anywhere approaching maybe just a little bit under 2 million, but pretty close to 2 bar.
A whole lot more. Well, no, well, it is a whole lot more essentially because it's 2.6 million rand.
2.6 million rand.
Yes, for honestly, no. Personally, for me, that makes no sense. 2 things. One, yes, it's over 2.6 million. It's an SUV, right? Already there, when you say that, you kind of throwing me off because for 2.6 million rand, there's a lot of SUVs that one could buy. You can get into a Porsche Cayenne, you can get into a Range Rover, you can get into an X5, you can even get into the car I'm driving right now, the VW Touareg. And
what is that going at?
This one that I have is going at 1.9 million rand. So you save 700,000 rand.
And it's vastly superior. Call a spade a spade.
Yeah, for me definitely. The engine that's in there, the range as well that's in there. You get 1,000 kilometers of range on one tank on that VW
That's
Touareg.
incredible.
So it's already leading, right? Now to add on to, it's a Volvo SUV. It's electric. So already that's throwing out a lot of people because it's an electric car. Then it's 2.6 on top of that. Electric vehicles don't do well in the country. I don't think there's an electric vehicle that manufacturers can say this electric vehicle is doing so well compared to ICE vehicles.
And do you see it changing? I don't see it changing.
No, not in South Africa. Main thing for me is because not like in the US. In the US, when you're driving around, there's charging ports literally right there, and there's a lot. Like I know with the Tesla ones, you see, there's a picture that I once saw that I think there's like 10 to 20 of Tesla charging ports. In South Africa, you won't find that. It's always just that one or maybe 2 at max.
So talking about charging ports, something that we're very proud of, if you go onto the CHANGECARS website, under EV, you'll see EV charging stations. And I want to choose my words carefully.
Okay.
When you look at the map, there are a lot. But when you compare it to petrol stations, it's minuscule. So if I say to you there's 150 or 200 or 300 charging stations, that sounds like a lot. But compared to thousands of petrol stations, I just personally feel if I got in an EV, I'm going to Durban, I'm going to the Free State, I'm going to Cape Town, wherever it may be, I'm going to run into trouble. That is 100%. My mindset.
Yeah, for me, definitely. Any long distance trip in an EV, you need to think twice.
And you don't need that angst.
You don't. And that's why electric cars will never do well in South Africa. Because also, when you look at the majority of people that are in Gauteng, they're not from Gauteng, for example. Correct. I'm not from Gauteng. I'm from Limpopo, Venda. It's like close to 500 k's away, one way. There's no charging port anywhere going that direction. It's only in Polokwane that there's a charging port. So now what if I
have to make Polokwane or I'm in trouble? No ways.
What if I get to the charging station in Polokwane, then it's not working? Then what? And charging stations do happen like that. If it's load shedding or there's a power outage. So you need to look at such things where at a petrol station. If this petrol station doesn't have fuel, I can just go to the one down the road. So
Correct.
that's why I think they'll never do electric vehicles.
But that's interesting. I drive from Joburg to Polokwane. I've planned it carefully. I get there and there's no charging station. In theory, yes, I should have the backup of my own charging power unit, but it's messy, it's
And
complicated. That takes forever,
yeah,
correct.
Like 8 to 10 hours to charge.
So we agree that Volvo is in trouble and a bad move.
100%.
What brand is growing in South Africa? Their dealer network. And I must say, I wear two hats with this brand. Sometimes I'm impressed and sometimes a little bit in doubt. Today, I'm going to tell you an impressive story.
Okay. Give me a hint. Where's it from?
I'll give you a hint. My first name has got something in common with it.
M. Mahindra. Hopefully. Oh, okay. Mahindra.
How many dealerships has Mahindra got? So again, always like to share. Mazda around 30. Nissan today around 100, there or thereabouts.
Oh, that's
Ford
impressive.
100, 115. Toyota standout over 200. How many has Mahindra got, would you imagine?
You said
It's very good. It's very, very good. Nowhere near Mazda.
So Mazda's 30, nowhere near Mazda. I'm going to say double that and add 10, 70.
Very good guess. Just under 100. We believe it's 95 dealerships.
Okay.
Again, what is Mahindra saying to the public at large about 95 dealerships in the country?
That's a lot.
We believe in the country.
Yeah.
We're going to back up and support our product. Superb. Mahindra Scorpio. Sounds like a question and answer session. What do you know about the Mahindra Scorpio?
What do I know?
The Bakkie. Single cab
it's
Bakkie.
Single cab.
Well, I think it's called a Mahindra Scorpio.
Yeah,
Maybe
it
I'm wrong.
is. Yes, yeah, Scorpio, yeah. I know there's the single cab, there's the double cab. It's a workhorse, essentially, that Bakkie.
So 2 weeks ago at Geratech, my colleague Grant McCleary organized an event where we tested 1 ton double cabs
Okay.
with 1,000 kilograms of river sand on the back. All were equal, measured 1,000 kilos of river sand. Ford Ranger was there, Amarok was there, Hilux was there, 2 Isuzu two Isuzu single cabs were
Yeah.
there, JAC, Mahindra, Photon. What impressed me? Oh, and GWM Steed and GWM P-Series. What impressed me? 2 Bakkies stand out. When I say shocked, in the most positive way.
I'll say Hilux and probably the Mahindra.
So the Hilux, you expected to do well.
Yeah.
It didn't surprise us in any way, just ticked every box that a Hilux would tick.
Yeah.
However, hold that thought. It didn't tick those boxes any better than the Mahindra. The GWM Steed, under 300,000 Rand.
Really?
Now, under 300,000 Rand for the single cab.
Okay.
Absolutely beautiful cabin, integrated radio, everything fits beautifully. And the Mahindra Bakkie, that is literally a donkey and a workhorse. But we did it on the drag strip. We were racing, Grant and myself. Take a guess who won?
What were you in?
The Mahindra.
So the Mahindra won,
Yeah.
essentially.
We were against the Photon in the one. And the Photon had a lot more kilowatts.
Okay.
Photon, which I'm not a fan of,
Did
was
well.
not bad.
So out of all the Bakkies that are there, which was the worst, if I should say?
Interesting. And never sitting on the fence, not one of them disappointed us.
Oh, okay.
So again,
That's
not a
good.
fan of Photon, but impressed. I thought the JAC was going to struggle. The JAC looks like a Hyundai H100 or the Kia 2700.
Okay.
Very, very good. As I said, the Hilux impressed, the Steed impressed. Apologies, not the Steed, the Isuzus.
Isuzus.
But the one that I would say to you surprised me negatively, if you had to say, the Ford Ranger.
Ford Ranger. Okay.
It doesn't feel like a workhorse.
Yeah.
Very smart cabin. If you're the manier who wants to drive this, but you don't want to put a load on the back, it will work for you. But the 2 Bakkies that absolutely said, we are doing what we advertise, Mahindra
Yeah.
and the Steed. Unbelievable. P-Series, what would you imagine the P-Series was as a single cab?
I would say slightly behind the Steed.
I would say the Steed was streets ahead of the P-Series. And
Okay.
the P-Series was similar to the Ford Ranger. Kind of Bakkie where you can just say, you
It's not
cannot work. If I had a courier company and I wanted to buy 100 Bakkies, I'm going to buy the Isuzu without a shadow of doubt. Do you know a company called The Courier Guy?
The Courier Guy, yes, I
If
do.
I'm not mistaken, and a little bit of free advertising, how many Bakkies would you say they've got? I was shocked.
It was the Courier Guy, they're nationwide, so I'm gonna say 1,000.
That's a good guess. 1,800.
Ooh.
Now, if you got 1,800 Bakkies
Yeah,
and
that's a
you've
lot.
gone with Isuzu, so a big shout out to Isuzu. What I always say, credit where credit is due, and bring it out where it's not due. But after the break, what are we talking about?
Well, the ugliest car. And since we're taking a break, as you guys are watching the ad break, please try to think of the ugliest cars, because when we come back, we're going to tell
Can
you.
I just say something before we go to the break?
Yes.
When you think of the ugliest car, you're only competing for second place.
That
Because
was-
the
yeah.
standout winner
Yeah.
is so far ahead of the rest, it's not even a comparison.
You'll see it after the
Bonjour.
break.
No, that's French. What do you say in Italian? Ciao.
Ciao. Yeah.
I'm giving you a clue.
After the break, you'll see the ugliest cars that I think is the ugliest and what Michael thinks is the ugliest.
Need advice? Visit changecars.co.za and click on the Ask Mikey tab.
So, the interesting thing now for this show, I think is one of the most interesting topics, is the ugliest car. And for that, I had to take out my phone, because some of these names, and maybe when I do say it, I want Michael to see the vehicle and maybe get a reaction. So actually, number one, tell the public what number one is.
I think it's universally accepted, whatever country, whatever continent, whatever province you're in, the Fiat Multipla is the out-and-out ugliest car. On your screen right now,
100%.
if you disagree with me, fair enough. We're not always right,
Yeah.
but in this case, I think we are right. What do you think of the Multipla?
Definitely the ugliest car. Like, there's no debate. I think if there's literally no debate, it's the ugliest car. Even when we spoke about it on the group and you said the ugliest car, we're all thinking about it.
Correct.
Yeah.
So now, I'm not anti-Fiat in any way. When I say I'm not anti-Fiat, but Fiat doesn't have a hell of a lot going for it. So it's not resale value or
Yeah,
longevity. So now you go take a little bit of a challenge that you have as a brand, and you go and bring what was the point of the Multipla? One of the unique features, seating capacity. Do you know about the seating capacity?
No, I don't.
It was a 6-seater.
Okay.
So it was 3 in front
Oh,
and 3 at the back. So almost like a Valiant or a older car from the
Older cars.
60s and 70s with that bench seat.
Yeah.
But for the rest, and then they actually did a facelift, and it was a dramatic improvement. Made it a candidate for the second ugliest car.
Fair
But
enough.
in South Africa, forget about the Multipla, mainstream, what else stands out for you?
Mainstream. Well, vehicle that I grew up seeing, and I didn't get why people would buy it, because it was very ugly for me. It was a Sesayong. The Sesayong Road.
The Sanyong Corando.
Which one is that?
There was a couple of Sanyongs. The one Sanyong looked like it was half car, half hearse.
Yes, this
Is
one.
that the one? Exactly that.
This
I think
one, yes.
That car
100%.
was built to be a hearse.
Yes,
Like
that.
if you came to a wedding in that, they'd say, shame, a double sad occasion, a wedding and a
wedding
funeral
and
all in
funeral.
one.
Yeah.
Very good. I won't lie. I didn't think of that.
So for me, that when you said let's think of cars, definitely that's what came to my mind. The Sesayong, literally.
How do you pronounce it?
Sesayong.
Sisanyong.
How was it pronounced?
So again, I'm not saying I'm right. I thought it was Sanyong.
Okay.
Like you don't say the double S.
The double
you just
S,
say
oh.
Sang.
Well, fair enough.
And then mainstream brands who's produced something shocking.
Mainstream.
You see it today as a lot of them are used as Ubers.
You know,
And from the back in particular, and they've got 2 cars. In fact, this brand has got 2 contestants playing for 3rd and 4th position.
use it for Uber.
Nissan,
Listen. Oh.
the Almera.
Oh. Well,
From the front, it's acceptable.
Okay.
From the side, it tells you what's coming. From the rear, it's like, guys, go to the toilet and vomit. It is that not shocking?
Yeah, I'm guessing you don't like it. It's
Not
top
at all.
there.
And
for you.
remember, I'm a Nissan fan.
Yeah.
You want a double cab? I'm going Navara. You want a big 4x4? I'm going Patrol. But when it comes to the what do you call it, Almera?
Almera.
Shocking. What other Nissan discontinued? By 2007, 2008.
Juke. I would say Juke.
Now, interesting. So the Duke, I think, was designed to be different. I didn't like it in the beginning,
But
and it grew on me.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
Nissan Tida. Do you remember the Tida?
Oh yes, then it came in this color. Was it yellowish or greenish color? Yes,
correct.
I remember the Tida.
But if I remember as well, it had a boot, which made it shocking.
Yeah, it was a sedan one. There was a hatchback one as well.
To make a sedan good looking is actually difficult. If you
Yeah.
take the beautiful 3 Series, the C-Class Merc, the A3, the A4 sedan,
Yeah.
very, very good. But then look at a Polo. I think a VW Polo is a good looking car. Do you agree?
Once you go sedan,
But is it terrible looking in a sedan?
yeah, it's worse for me. Yeah, it's worse.
But what is it?
I I think sedans I just had to make it look good.
3, 4, 5 years from now, sedans, will they be on the market? I don't think so.
Everyone's buying SUVs now, so definitely
SUVs or hatch. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. One more vehicle that I found ugly from the minute it was launched till today.
BMW from Chris Bangle.
No. It's a brand I really love, and it's Suzuki. The Suzuki Espresso.
Oh, yes.
I don't like the look of that.
It just doesn't look like a car. It looks like a half loaf that looks like it wants to tip over.
Yeah.
But it's a combination of the wheels. The wheels are too small.
Very small.
The
height as well on top of
everything
that.
about that car, 100%.
Then the color as well. There's like an orange one. You'd be like, why would I want an orange car? Well, an orange budget car. If I had an orange Gallardo, it makes sense. But
It's amazing.
Yeah.
As you said, the color. Promise you, this is not rehearsed. Orange came to mind. Who makes an orange car by choice?
Exactly. But
Good news and bad news all in one.
Okay.
You've won a car, but it's orange. Okay.
It's good and bad news. Yeah, it was resale value, definitely. Who would want to buy an orange car?
Never in a million years.
There's only one good orange car that I know. There's a
Lamborghini
Gallardo. That's
Of course.
it.
But now, interesting. And again, you take Lamborghini Gallardo in yellow, in orange, in
White,
green.
they were
but,
white.
but they make them
Well,
in
that-
certain
I
colors.
think that green was the Superleggera or something
Yeah.
like that. Yes, that green
But
was the
how do they get away with those colors? When I say get away with them, you are ordering that color by choice. Now, Lamborghini don't allocate you a color. You go in and you order the car and you choose that color. For me, yellow, oh, those colors are terrible.
Yeah, bright colors. But I guess when you're buying a Lamborghini, you wanna be bright. You want people
Okay,
to
so,
see it. So it makes sense.
so do you like it or don't like it?
I like
Oh,
it.
you like it? Okay. Because I was going to offer him a Nissan Almera or a Lamborghini. Nissan Almera in a beautiful metallic grey.
No, I want the Lamborghini. And also, this podcast is actually getting a lot of traction. And I say that because I think it was like 2 episodes back, you actually spoke about it. You said for Mercedes and BMW to do well.
And Audi.
And Audi.
But Audi've got the free
Audi has
will
got the
permit,
free will,
correct?
yes. For them to do well, they need to push their warranty, their plans, essentially.
Correct.
And guess who has done that?
Justin Jacobs, well done for listening. And I mean it, well done. 7 years, 140,000 kilos. What it does for me, just think about this for a moment. I buy a 3-year-old Mercedes. I've got 4 years left. The plan is transferable. Would you rather have a 3-year-old Mercedes with 4-year plan left, because full maintenance,
Yeah.
or a brand new Chinese vehicle with service plan?
The Mercedes.
Very, very smart move. Will it affect your new car sales? I think so, positively.
Yeah.
But what it's going to do, and this is key, it's going to affect your used car sales positively. Now, you don't have to sell a new car to beat a Chinese brand.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a Chinese vehicle, 600,000-700,000 rand. I'll now consider a second-hand Mercedes. I'll buy the second-hand Mercedes. I've already affected that sale of
The
the
sale.
brand new entrant. Right
Yeah,
or wrong?
100%.
So, again, you can thank me privately, you can thank me publicly, up to you.
and you
But
know what
well
else?
done for listening.
And you know what else they did? You remember you said Audi has that freeway plan. Like you said that it was to 10 years, right? Am I
10 years
mistaken?
originally, now up to 15 years.
Oh, 15 years, yes. And remember you had said they have such a plan, but they're not making it public knowledge, right? Now, Mercedes announces this. Obviously, we saw it because of the press
Correct.
release. And then yesterday, funny enough, at least we're shooting this like a day after. Yesterday, I see a video from Mercedes-Benz South Africa on their Instagram. They post a video of the people that work at Mercedes, friends of the brand, because they have friends of the brands as people like as celebrities that
Yes.
that partner up with Mercedes, like Zakes Bantwini. They were doing a
Clever.
video speaking about the 7-year 140,000. So they letting the public know that, hey, we have this new plan. And I think it goes back to what Audi didn't do, and Mercedes is doing it.
But talking about the public, I'd just like to say, if something is not working, don't keep doing the same. Change it. If it's not working today, I'll give you one guarantee. It won't be working in a month's time and a year's time. But getting back to the public, I cannot say enough what this show is about. We are not here to be dismissive to any brand. We're not here to do anything but showcase what is good and enlighten the public about what is a
What's bad.
challenge. Talking about a challenge.
Okay.
Dekra.
Yes.
What do you know about the brand Dekra that we haven't already covered? Yes, it was associated with We Buy Cars, etc. Who owns Dekra in South Africa?
I have no idea.
Interesting. Why do you have no idea? Because the owners of Dekra don't want you to know. If you go onto any company that is owned by Bidvest, it will say proudly Bidvest. Go onto dekra.co.za. There will be nothing that shows you it's a Dekra brand. Dekra is owned by Bidvest. They bought it for one reason, because it's a money-making enterprise. They've got the roadworthy centers. They've got the technical centers. You have to use them. You don't have a choice.
You have to.
But why I'm calling this out, if you have a problem with a Dekra report, blame the right people. Dekra is owned by Bidvest. It's managed by Bidvest. Call them out. And again, why are they not advertising it? Do you agree? They don't want you to know. Bidvest is advertising everywhere. Steiner Hygiene, every product that they have. Bid Food, Bid this, Bid that. Why are they not advertising Dekra?
I think definitely they don't want you to know because of the challenges that the Dekra is actually facing right now. With now people don't trust Dekras anymore.
Correct. But they don't trust Dekra for the right reasons. So just remember, it's a Bidvest company. If you have a problem, speak to the right people. I've often said there's only two brands in South Africa that are universally liked. And when I say universally liked, male, female, all racial groups. Yeah. One of them is VW. I mean, just look at Camfest.
Yeah.
But what is the other one?
BMW.
So something interesting. 34 years in the motor trade, and I'll say it all the time. I've got a thirst for knowledge. I see a video, and it says, why has BMW not made the following ever? And they were talking about an engine. So when you think of BMW engines today, 3-cylinder 1500s, 4-cylinder turbocharged in their 228,
yes.
all of that,
6-cylinder
straight six, unbelievable engine, the epitome of a BMW, the smooth straight six. V8 have they made?
Yes, they have.
V10?
V10 they have.
V12?
Yes, and the 760 Li.
What have they not made? But interesting that you knew about a 760 Li, V12.
I love it. That's why.
That's a real engine.
Yeah.
What have BMW not made that, if you think of Ford as an example, is the absolutely iconic Ford engine?
Oh, like a V6 maybe?
How is that possible? They've never made a V6. And it's not like they're anti-V. V8, V10, V12, but yet they've never made a V6.
I don't know. I think that makes them stand out, I guess. I think because when you say, if I were to ask anyone that those cars are like straight six, you think of BMW immediately. So I think maybe that's why they didn't go and make
But
one.
what's interesting, when you think about it and you analyze it, okay, I know they make straight sixes, but when you say to me, what engine have they never made? I would never have thought that they haven't made a V6. As a matter of interest, how much do you know? What is the difference, when I say difference, in characteristics between a straight six and a V6? What makes a one better than the other?
No idea. Honestly, I have no idea.
So straight six from BMW in particular, because remember, Nissan made the straight six in the Skyline, Chev made the straight six in the Chev 4100. It's much smoother. A V6 is inherently unbalanced. When I say inherently unbalanced, it can't be as smooth as a straight engine, but a straight four, funny enough, is unbalanced as well. It's too short. So BMW, I said you are a brand that is universally liked. Don't ever make a V6 and keep it that way. So you can see I've got a smile on my face. You know what I want to talk about.
Yeah, 100%, because we've spoken about it briefly off air, and the reach out of people as well when they tell you about these things. You spoke about Ford. Why? Just touch on that.
So let me be very open. Me and Nikki agree on 99% of stuff. When it comes to Ford, I'm going to give you a moment. Do you like Ford? Do you hate Ford? Or do you love Ford? Only one of those three.
I love Ford. Funny enough, I actually also have a Ford right now. It's just at home. I didn't want to use it because the one that I'm driving is heavy on fuel. You can take a guess.
So if I say to the Wild Track?
The Raptor.
The Raptor, ooh. With 120 kilowatts, or what, 296? What is the kilowatt?
Yes, 293. 293 or 292. Somewhere. I'll put on screen correctly, yeah.
You can understand why it's heavy on fuel.
Yeah.
But let me ask you, what is it about Ford that you like?
So for me, and it's because I've grown to it, is how it doesn't feel like a Bakkie. So if I'm looking to buy a workhorse, I will not buy a Ford.
Okay.
Right? I'll buy a Toyota, a single cab, whatever. I wouldn't buy a single cab Ford because I feel like it's not meant for that. But when I want something luxurious that's big, that I can double up for two things. I can use it on a daily basis. Then if I need to carry a fridge or something, or go off-road, like where I'm from in Venda, there's definitely places where I'll need a Bakkie. Then I lean more to the Ford because I can live with it every day. And when I go back home, it can still do the off-roading and everything. So just when you inside it, it doesn't feel like it's a Bakkie. Whereas other, especially like if you get into a Toyota Hilux, that feels like you feel like you're in a Bakkie. That's why I love it.
So let me tell you why I'm anti-Ford. So in the real world, every single day, when I say every single day, I mean every single day, Audi, BMW, Mercedes, challenges with high mileage cars. We've covered this in depth.
Yeah.
Toyota, Suzuki, Honda. Not one single. If I say to you, the last time I've had to ask Mikey about a Toyota, a Suzuki, I'm talking about problems, was never. Every single week, Ford. Why are Ford having the problems that they're having? So I'll give you a simple example. Injection. The injectors causes the pistons to explode. What do Ford blame? They will say, if you have a problem with your Ford engine, what is to blame?
I have no idea.
No idea? The diesel? But contaminated diesel. That is what they always say.
So they say you put in the wrong type of diesel in your car?
No, they're saying there was something in the diesel that was contaminated.
Like?
I say BS, and if you want the full word, phone me privately. Bull, 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 bull. Because that same petrol station, wherever that contaminated fuel came from, is in a Hilux, is in a Nissan, is in an Isuzu. I'm saying to you openly, Ford, you need to answer to the public. And I'd actually like the public to reach out to me personally with your Ford engine story or your Ford electrical story. The EcoBoost, huge problems. The Ranger engines, the older ones in particular, huge problems. A Ford with 150,000 kilos, a Bakkie, built Ford tough. Should that be giving trouble?
No, ideally no. At 150, no.
I can see Nikki's wanting to kick me out of this podcast. It's like, where are you coming with this? For me, I've always got to share what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, the public will say, Mike, it's interesting. I've got 5, 6, 7 friends, whatever, colleagues that have got Fords, never had a problem. Electrical and the injectors.
So what normally goes wrong in let's focus on the Ranger in specific. So what normally goes wrong and when does it go wrong in terms of like mileage per se?
So mileage close to 100, between 100 and 150.
Okay.
If you buy a Ranger that's got 240,000 kilos, there'll be one common denominator. The previous owner or the current owner who's trying to sell it will say, we had the engine rebuilt at. When it comes to a Toyota, the chance of buying a Toyota with a rebuilt engine are zero. I'm talking about routine wear and tear. With a Ford, what is going wrong? Don't know. 100 to 150, the 2.2 litre diesels on the Ranger and the 3.2 litre.
Oh, so that's the previous. Oh, yes.
Correct. Huge problems. But those are great vehicles in the second-hand market, well priced. People who are buying that are having problems. And like I said again, this is the ethos of the show. We are here for you, the public. If we're wrong, say, Mike, first time I'm hearing it. If we're right, flood our podcast with comments.
So actually, because there's a lot of people that actually do watch the podcast, if you do happen to own a Ford Ranger, whether it's the new one or the previous generation, and you are past 100,000 kilometers, please do comment. If it's not giving you problems, please do say it's not giving you problems. If it is giving you problems, please do say yes, it's giving me problems, and specify, because I'd honestly like to see as well, like which one. Like if you say your Ranger's giving you problems, please comment 2014 Ranger whatever engine is giving me problems 1, 2, 3. Like then I'll engage with you because that's very important.
And let's see what customers have got in common.
Yeah, so we can see, because I think from the comments we'll be able to gauge what the main problem that actually occurs is. So that's very interesting.
But now talking about Ford, earlier we spoke about brands that are losing dealerships. To Ford's absolute credit, they're not losing dealerships.
Yeah, there's no.
They're very strong in the double cab market. Very, very strong.
Yeah, actually they do better than Toyota in that regard.
But where else are they strong? Passenger cars, one car. What have they got? Puma.
Right now they have a Puma.
One car. What happened to the Figo? What happened to the Fiesta? What happened to the EcoBoost? Yes. What happened to the Focus? What happened to the Mondeo? I'm talking about that category of car. Where are Ford going with their lack of passenger cars in South Africa?
I think for me right now, because I think they're probably seeing what's happening in the country and what's selling and what's not selling. And I feel like if they could bring, there's a Focus that's in America. I'm not sure about a Fiesta, but if they were to bring those side, it'll be it'll be expensive, and pricing wise it'll be higher than what the people that are dominating are in. So I think for them it's a thing of, do we exhaust our budget into trying to bring in those vehicles, and maybe they not
Interesting.
sell. Maybe in that regard, they're like, okay, maybe we can see that in this segment we will not dominate. So let's focus our energy in like with the Bakkies, for example. I think maybe that's where they're channeling their energy and focusing on, and because they also have a Ford Territory.
Right.
They brought back the nameplate for Territory. So I think they saw that SUVs are a thing in the country. So let's bring out the Ford.
So in the
Territory.
commercial sector and the SUV sector, they're strong. But let's talk about the Transit and the Tornado. I spoke about problems. Got a Ford Transit that we sold to a school. Beautiful bus, 44,000 kilos. 44,000 kilos, is that old, like new in your opinion?
That's basically 3 services. So for me, it's still new.
It's like new. Ford Transit, electrical problems. What kind of electrical problems? Everything that you can name. Sometimes a car starts, sometimes it doesn't. Battery, perfect. Car's running perfectly, started again, no dashboard lights. How? How is that possible?
So then what? So obviously that happens. You're gonna want to take the car to the dealership. How do dealerships take that car in? Like, is it a thing of no, we don't want to assist, or they do take it in and assist it and bring it back?
So when I think of Toyota in particular, again, we always talk about problems. Toyota fundamentally don't give a problem. But to answer your question, Toyota got the most incredible backup from the factory.
Yeah.
If there's any challenge whatsoever, there's somebody that knows.
Yeah.
With Ford, throw their hands up in the air. It can be this, it can be that. Do we need to send it to an auto electrician? Do we need to send it to a specialist? These cars are giving problems that cars should not be giving. But talking about the dealer, something that I just want to mention, and this is absolutely critical. Dealers are agents for the OEM. Remember when we spoke about a loan car?
Yes.
I take my car to the dealership, there's a problem. There's a problem with the car, not a problem with the dealership. The OEM must make good on that. I take my car to a Ford agent, whoever it may be. Ford agent A, and they can't fix it. Is it a reflection on the agent, or is it a reflection on Ford head office, in your opinion?
For me, I think Ford head office. I think
Absolutely.
The agent should be able to work and fix the vehicle.
100%. And now this goes for Alfa Romeo to Volvo and anyone in between. If I have a problem with an agent, it's actually the manufacturer to blame. And the manufacturer must take responsibility for it. And this is where I come back often to the Chinese cars. What expertise does a Moda, does JQ, does Chery, does Haval actually have in the country? They don't have the expertise.
Nothing.
Toyota have got it.
They do.
BMW have got it. Mercedes, I believe, have got it.
So before we take a break, there's actually...
You want me to apologize to Ford? Not happening, Nikki.
Then I'm going to end the podcast here. So you spoke about, funny enough, you're speaking about Chinese cars, you were naming them. And as you were naming them, I just saw you just kept going, adding to your fingers. There's a new Chinese vehicle, well, Chinese brand coming.
Before you tell me, think of any name, call it Al Araba, and soon we'll have that brand here. I mean, Jamil Auto, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, Jamil Motors, I think.
Jamil Motors.
Yes, Jamil Motors, yeah.
It's like the attack is not stopping. And again, we've discussed this, but today there must be 15 Chinese manufacturers. GWM, Chery, Haval and GWM essentially the same.
Yeah.
JAC, GAC,
Or
BYD,
Moda.
Amoda, Jetua, MG,
There's a lot.
okay, LDV.
LDV.
You can't stop. But Photon, exactly
There's a
that. I mean,
lot.
I don't know exactly what it is, but it's approaching 15.
There's a lot, yeah.
Now, each one of those cars, I've also said it before, iPad, and it's designed a car around it that's similar to our competitors, but slightly different. Slightly different, it's got different tail lights.
Yeah.
Jamil Motors, whatever it may be. Would you ever drive a car? And I say to you, what are you driving? I'm driving the latest Jamil 27. Or I don't even know the name. I'm not interested in finding out the name.
Yeah, it doesn't give you that thing. Yeah, it's like saying I drive a Nikki.
Correct, I drive a Nikki. So
It's
a
not-
plea to Beijing or Shanghai or wherever these cars are made, stop. We've had enough. We've got enough. And please leave us alone. Give our established brands in South Africa a chance.
You said Beijing. There's
Oh,
there's
Beijing. Bike, Beijing, absolutely. You cannot even keep up. If I say to you, name 6 German cars, because that's all there's 6. Okay, Japanese cars, there's 5 or 6.
Yeah.
There's more Chinese cars than Japanese and German combined. I repeat again, please release us from this punishment.
Yeah, 100%. Let's take a quick ad break, and then when we come back, we're going to speak more topics.
Need advice? Visit changecars.co.za and click on the Keep It or Change Cars tab.
So a couple of weeks ago, we actually spoke about, remember the topic, I think it was in the Yawa episode, we spoke about the bull bars and everything. Now people are asking us about other things, like the towing laws, the suspension kits on vehicles, the spotlights, all those things.
So somebody phoned me and said, sorry, apologies, they actually didn't phone me. They wrote in and said, Mike, what is your position on stance? Now, again, listen, guys, 52 years old, what is stance? You know, like if you said to me, what is your stance on Ford? Very, very easy.
Yeah.
I've just shared it with you. What do you know about stance?
Stance is essentially my vehicle, my City Golf, cars that are lowered.
Seriously,
it's
you
called
can't
stance.
even fake that spot. It's like,
Yeah.
Am I talking your language now?
Yes, my language.
How low can you go? Is that the motto?
Campfest, that's stance, essentially, yeah.
But like, tell me about, what is it about a suspension being so low that the ride is horrible, that you can't go over a speed bump, and that you fear potholes? What is appealing about that exactly? The look.
Yeah, the car looks so good when it's parked. Like, when it's parked and also when it's driving, it just looks so good.
Okay. So you believe that Audi, BMW, and all their highly intelligent designers couldn't design something as good looking as that, and they gave you the horrible product and you improved upon it?
Yes.
I absolutely detest it. I detest the mag wheels. I detest the lowered suspension. But what the question essentially was about, the laws around certain things. So, are spotlights allowed? Are those high beam lights allowed? What is it, the rules when towing? Tell me about suspension, the stance. When you get stopped by a traffic officer, strictly speaking, is it legal or illegal?
It's illegal.
Illegal?
Legal.
It's legal.
It's legal.
Okay, and so that's interesting, because I would have thought that you needed that suspension travel for safety. Tell me why it's legal.
So, and I say it's legal because there's a video where some guy, I'm gonna actually put it for you guys. Some guy was speaking to a JMPD. It's not just an officer, it's high rank someone at JMPD, and then he asked him, "Is stance a crime?"
So just to confirm, stance is not a crime.
Stance is not a crime. It's not illegal for you to lower your vehicle.
I'm here with Kolani, the spokesperson of JMPD.
But it is allowed. From that angle, yes. But I have seen, well, not with me, but I've seen with other people post that they get a ticket, and then the ticket would write tempered suspension, for example. So it's a thing of, is it illegal? Is it legal? You find that the heads of for the authorities say it's legal,
right?
But the people that work underneath him also are not sure.
Or
if
put
legal.
another way, the R100 document was not available. Do you know what the R100 document is?
No, I don't know what is it.
Have you not heard of the R100 and the R200 document?
No.
And the COKE document?
No. What is that, Mike?
100 Rand note? 200 Rand
Oh,
note?
wow.
And the COKE...
Oh, wow.
There's this one ad, and the police officer stops a guy, and he tells him what he did wrong, and the gentleman says, but I have all my documents in order. On my lap, you'll see I've got the R100 document and the R200 document, and between my legs is a COKE. And we said, there's no problem.
Yeah, no, so with me, I've never experienced, there's no cop that has told me that suspension is a problem. With me, you know, they always tell me it's the number plate.
No, of course.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. The number plate, and you're still driving without a plate?
Still driving without a plate. But I am going to put it on now because I'm tired of getting stopped.
But never, do you not get fined? What is your actual excuse? What do you tell them?
So
I'm a naughty man. I'm sorry. I'm never on TV. I'm not trying to set the example for anybody.
Giving out my secrets. Essentially, so my City Golf, the number plate at the back, it's the long width.
Right.
But the number plate in front
is a square one.
It's a short. Not the square one, the shorter one.
Yes.
So I always just have the other long one in the car. Then when they stop me, I say, I don't have a short
the backing plate.
I'm still waiting for the bracket, the cars from Panel Beaches, whatever. Then they say, okay, no problem. Leave.
And the fact that we saw you a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, shame it. The wait is worth it.
I always tell them I don't have money. I don't have money. I'm still waiting, guys. I'm in for payday. So essentially, there's times where I drive my vehicle. So where I stay, when I leave where I stay, there's always a roadblock. The guys are even tired of me now because they know me.
Really?
It's the same guys all the time. So when they see me coming, it's a thing of, sometimes they greet me, they let me
Move
go.
on.
Sometimes I stop and then speak to them, and then obviously leave them something, and then I leave.
The R500 document also works. But can I share some good news?
Yes.
What is the question that I say to you that we get the most often? what is a good quality warranty.
Oh, yeah.
So if you watched the podcast 2 weeks ago, what I said was something along these lines. I can honestly not recommend a warranty because there isn't a brand out there. And then I said, but if you are, reach out to us on one condition. And I used my finger. I said, one condition, that you've got the public's interest at heart. I will say 3 companies reached out, all very, very good, right intentions, not chasing that. If you're chasing that, we're the wrong people. They're designing a product for us.
Okay.
2 weeks from now, I can't share the name just yet, but 2 weeks from now, we'll be able to announce a product. You'll see it on Change Cars. You'll see it on All Things Motoring. And the product is designed with who in mind?
The public, definitely.
100%. We're not trying to sound righteous and royal, but if there's one thing that we're priding ourselves on, I see the feedback via email, via WhatsApp, telephone communication. Mike, we feel like you've got our back. And I say again and again, not here to offend anybody, not here to step on anybody's toes, but if you are wrong, we need to call it out. 100%. For example, Dekra and Ford. Today, you got your moment in the sun.
100%. Guys, there's no way we can go further after that. That's such a beautiful speech from Michael. I think we just need to end the podcast there, because if you carry on, it might not end. So, guys, thank you for watching. Remember, please like, comment, subscribe, share with your family and friends. Just tell the public, tell everyone about us. If they don't know us, let them know that there's people like us out there.
Is it possible that they don't know us today?
Yeah, nowadays it's not possible. Because literally, now, wherever I go, I get spotted. They're like, oh, you do the, you from YouTube? And I'm like, no. TikTok? And I'm like, oh. And when they say TikTok, I know they're talking about Change Cars.
But one of the things that people love, I often say, it's time to sell the car. If it's giving you trouble, sell it. And they'll say, but who should I sell it to?
Obvious.
Very easy. Somebody doesn't watch the podcast.
Like that. But
another great show. Thanks,
another
Vicky.
great one. See you guys on the next one.
Keep it or change cars, the motoring podcast for you.